It is so much fun to have you here, Hayley.
Thank you.
Everyone, this is Hayley Marsden-Kroll, whom I met the first time here in Cuenca in Sacred Circle. We've shared ceremony a number of times since then, and it's always a delight. One of Hayley's gifts is music. She's a singer, songwriter who has some beautiful tunes out there, and we will give you links a little bit later so that you know where you can go listen to them, buy them, incorporate them into your life. Today, what we're talking about is how we keep our vibration as high as possible, why that's important, and what tools might be useful to other people. Welcome, Hayley.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
It's a pleasure to have you here.
Thank you.
So have you always been a mystical being, or did something happen at some point in your life that put you on that path?
I think there are many things that have happened in my life that have thankfully put me on a path that I'm very happy to be on. It included a lot of trauma, a lot of processing. I think some people may be lucky and may be born enlightened, may be born with this, really clear connection to everything that's worthy connecting to. For me, in my younger life, life just happened to me, and I didn't have a voice, and I had many years dealing with a lot of trauma, and I'm very, very thankful for all of the learning experiences I've had, for all of the golden nuggets of wisdom and ideas that have come to me through all the wonderful people that have entered my life, and very, very thankful to be in a place of much better peace and happiness and enlightenment now, for sure.
So it's been a process for you. It has not been an easy process.
Very, very, very difficult.
Very difficult.
Yeah.
So there was a lot of pain. Were you aware at the time that you had support from other dimensions, perhaps from angels, guardians, helpers, teachers?
No, but for some reason, even though I'm not religious, as long as I can remember, a young child, a little girl, going to bed at night, for some reason, I began praying at a very, very young age, and no one told me to do it. No one told me who to pray to. My mum is an atheist, but I would pray every night, and so I had a connection to the source, even though I didn't know anyone else that really did. And I think that was probably my first, and I'm so thankful for a connection with the source, and my first practice. And I would pray, and I would have a conversation with my idea of God, and thankfully it's grown from that.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
So that really does speak to our understanding that there's always this connection inside us from the time we're born. It's a question of how we become aware of it, and in what context and what thoughts we form around it. So as a child, when you were praying to divine source, did you feel love, comfort, judgment? What did you feel?
First of all, it was just wonderful to have, to be able to connect with someone or something. I felt very alone with my life and my processes in many ways. So to just have a connection with something, to be able to talk to something alone was fantastic. And when I really was deep in that conversation, I felt like I was not alone. And I'm sure that's what kept me going back. I felt like I was not alone.
A sense of belonging.
Yeah.
And we still need that, don't we? This is one of the things that I encourage myself and other people to do, is to tune in to what's around you, because I need that sense of belonging. I need that sense that the world is a bigger place than my mind can just comprehend. It's way more layered and complicated. And at the same time, it's apparently extremely simple. So you have a lovely accent, my dear, which is not a North American accent. Give us a little bit of your backstory.
So at this point, it's very mixed. I grew up in London, South London. I was there till 22 years of age, and then I left for Australia. I was in Australia for about 6 months. Then I left for San Francisco, the Bay Area of San Francisco, California, with my now husband Bodhi, and I was there for 20 years before coming here.
That's a lovely place to be from, isn't
Oh,
it?
it's a fantastic part of the world. It's magical. It is.
Magical.
Yeah.
When did you start loving music or start performing music?
Oh, well, I started loving music as a very young child. I remember singing in my backyard and being told, "Shut up, who killed the cat?" You know? I didn't know anyone in music. Music was just not something you did. Music was something you watched other people on TV do. You know, there's no one in my life that, thought it was worthy to pursue music in any real way. But I began writing poetry from a very young age with my mate Nawala from South London, and but it wasn't until I was 22 when I left London and I met Bodhi. He was the first musician I'd ever met in my life, and then along with him came other musicians that I met. It's like, wow, people are actually doing this. They're not just, singing in the shower when they think no one's listening. They're actually doing it, And so I had my first jams. And it was during an experimental phase, actually, with certain plant medicines. And one of them in particular, I had some incredible experiences with mushrooms.
Oh, mushroom teachers are one of my favorites too.
I found areas of my voice that I don't know how long it would have taken me to find without those experiences, because it made me this brave explorer of my voice and of my sounds, and so I experimented a lot during those times, and I was hooked. Isn't it
fabulous when you find your passion?
Oh yeah, it's wonderful. It's wonderful. I'm very thankful that I found mine, and I've been lucky enough to be practicing it and cultivating it and enjoying it since.
And you're doing this while you're raising a family. Tell us a little about your family.
Oh, well, I have 3 human children, 2 teenagers, 1 baby. I have 6 dogs and 2 cats and a husband. So a very, very full family. Mm-hmm. And, when I used to pray as that little girl, I would pray for many things. I'd give thanks. I'd pray for 1,000 things. But I'd usually end my prayer with, "But if I can have just one thing, let it be that I get to be a mum."
Oh,
and that was always my number one dream, to have a family, to have children. So I feel very, very blessed. And Zahara is 2 years old, so I have 2 teenagers and a baby.
And how is that?
Oh man, well, it's I wouldn't trade it for the world. On the challenging side, it's very, very challenging at times. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of energy. It's so much work but also motivation to be the best, most patient, loving person that I can be, and it's very, very challenging. On the positive side, we have so much fun. We were talking about Jim Carrey earlier and that silly sense of humour. Well,
yes.
there's no one that I can be as silly with as my kids. Yes. I mean,
how fun is that?
If the people I knew saw how I act with them, they'd probably think I was completely nuts. Because I get to be a kid again, I was a silly kid, and I love to be the joker, and we have such a good time. It's so much fun.
Or the people watching might be totally jealous.
Possibly. I definitely, I highly recommend kids to anyone. And yesterday I had a little accident. I got sugar in my eye, and it was just a bizarre freak accident. It hurt like crazy, and I was on the floor, and my little 2-year-old Zahara, she came up to me on the back. She's like, pat me in the back. Oh, hurt. Pobrecita, hurt.
Oh, and do you ever feel love?
I have so much love. Yeah, there's a lot of love in my house.
And that is the best thing there is. There's nothing that vibrates higher than love. And actually, the silliness you're describing is one of the best ways to raise our vibrations. Because usually, when we start feeling heavy and weighted down, we're so serious because the world is falling apart and it's nasty and we're grieving. And this is all true.
Yeah.
And we have so much love.
No.
And it's great for us to laugh and be silly and cut up, and that's the best thing to do if somebody's just being way too serious. Maybe you need to make a face.
Yeah, exactly.
And we don't think of those things. We think of spiritual tools as being things that you have to do.
Yeah.
But what if they're the things we get to do? We get to dance, we get to sing, we get to be silly.
Yeah.
Do you sense any connection between your spiritual core and your music?
Oh, are you kidding me? It's huge. I mean, well, first of all, the connection is so powerful. I've had jams and, experiences doing music where I literally feel like I've gone through a wormhole and popped out the other side. It's like, whoa, that's like a journey. Mm-hmm. And more as I've healed, continued on my healing journey and become more of a peaceful, healthy person, I'm practicing meditation and yoga as much as I can and just doing my self-work. Well, the connection that I have with Source, I feel like is coming through me more and more. And so I rarely, I try not to get stuck in anything, I try not to get stuck in any areas of my life. In particular with music, I try to just go with the flow. And it's magical how it comes through me sometimes. And some of the music is just for me and the ether, because it's not ever going to be repeated again. It's never going to, be recorded or shared. Some of it will, some of it won't, but I feel like, messages come through me sometimes, melodies come through me sometimes, tones and sounds, and so it's a huge part of my spirituality and journey, and I have so much that I want to share, it's huge.
Sometimes my writer friends say, if I don't sit down and write, I'm going to explode. It's like the ideas and the words are just pushing behind the dam or the blockage of the have-to-dos. Do you get that with your music?
Yeah, for sure.
So this is the divine expressing itself, divine feminine, divine masculine. There's no polarity in the source. So source is just love and creative power. Seems to be really pushing us now to let it flow through us. Can you describe how that feels for you?
Well, I feel it in myself, I feel it in so many people around me. I do feel what you're saying, and I hope that just like the mushrooms popping up all over the planet that simply cannot be quashed down, they cannot be eradicated. I do feel like, people are getting back to their creativity. People, I feel like people are waking up to, the fact that the way that most of us are living, it's not healthy. It's not, most people are not happy. Or I say most people, but again, that's changing. I feel like there's definitely a shift that's happening. And I think that when we get in touch with our creativity, when we make room for being creative, whatever that is, whether it's writing or singing or dancing or painting or, it could be creating a family even. Some people, their life work could be to be a
That's
leader, so there are so many different areas of being creative, and I think that when we get in touch with that and make room for that, it's an energy that comes out of us and affects everyone around us.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which is the whole point of the challenge we're doing. And that's why I want to make it fun. Because if it's fun, we'll do it more. And then it spreads. It's a wonderful contagion.
Yeah. Yeah.
We'll call this the happy virus. What would you recommend to someone? Let's say this is a really busy woman, like there's such a thing as a not busy woman, but we're going to say that she's basically healthy, she's educated, she's happy most of the time, more or less, except that she gets tired because she's always going. But she's intrigued with what we're talking about. What would you like to say to her?
To just make more time to be versus do. Whether it's via yoga or meditation, or just being out in nature, to be with ourselves, to connect with Source. When we slow down and we connect with ourselves and Source, I think that we are led, we're giving clues, we're giving downloads as to where to go next, what to do next, what feels good to us. We get in touch with our bodies, just slow down and feel what are our bodies telling us. And we just get so many people are so hectic, we just our lives are so stressful. I think it's crucial to slow down and to just meditate or connect as much as possible.
Maybe even just check in with ourselves.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So often when you've been going, as soon as you slow down, all the voices in your head start yammering. You can't take time off. You have to do this, and shame on you. You didn't do that, and you've got to do all this tomorrow, and if you don't get started right now, you're never... And these voices go on and on. So when you slow down, how do you deal with the voices so that you can dive a little deeper into the tranquility?
Yeah, it's so hard. It is so hard. And, first of all, remembering that to-do list is never going to be a blank sheet.
Exactly.
Never going to be a blank sheet. So if you wait for, there to be nothing to do, you simply will not make time for yourself. And now health and happiness is crucial for all areas of our lives. So just, reminding ourselves, I remind myself that it's of the utmost importance. If I don't look after myself, if I don't check in with myself, work on myself, trying to be the best, most peaceful, happy person I can be, everyone around me and everything around me is going to suffer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And that's absolutely true. In the South where I grew up, we have a saying, if mama ain't happy, ain't nobody. Now that is a tongue-in-cheek satire and parody about a gentleman keeping his wife happy, or it can be a mama, or it can be a sweetheart, or it can be anything. Yeah. But for mama herself, the idea of sacrificing who you are, of letting yourself get so drained that you have no inner resources, is a myth. It doesn't help anybody.
No,
it doesn't help anybody. So what kind of challenge would you like to give somebody who's just tuning in and considering whether she wants to participate?
Well, 20 minutes a day I think is a good, reasonable goal. You can switch it up. Little meditation, little yoga. With yoga, I don't even follow I don't really follow. I just go with the flow, just like I do with my music. If you have 5 yoga poses, you just take a minute and just get in touch with your body, dance, laughter. Just take time. You know, maybe take a second to meditate, and then see what you feel like doing, whether it's yoga or dancing or music or going out in nature. 20 minutes a day. 20 minutes a day, I think, is a reasonable goal that most of us can carve out.
I think so too.
Yeah.
Great ideas. Hayley, thank you so much for coming in
Oh,
and
God.
talking with me about this. What music projects are you working on right now?
Oh, I'm so excited. I have a local project here in Ecuador called the Shades Project, and the musicians are mostly Ecuadorian, one's from Venezuela. It came about through a jam. It just, it just kind of happened. We just jammed and we're like, oh my, just some of the music that came out from that one jam was like so awesome. And so we've been working together for the last year. We have 8 songs that I am so in love with. They're inspirational, they're about love. One of them is very political. One's about finding, one's basically a reggae song where I'm talking to my future self. And so I'm just in love with the music. The musicians are great. We wanted to record an album, and one of the reasons I haven't recorded in 20 years, almost 20 years, is because it's so expensive. Well, I put together a crowdfunding campaign, which was in of itself a creation, and put it out on Indiegogo.com. It just ended in January, and I made over 1,500.
Oh my goodness.
By the campaign. So
wow.
I'm so thankful. So we have enough money to, I'm hopeful, record 4 songs to radio quality level.
Wonderful.
And so I got started this week, Wednesday and Thursday. Yesterday I was in the studio. I got started. I'm so happy. I'm like so happy. So for the first time in my life, well, not the first time in my life, I've had, there's been basically no support for my music. I've had to,
just slug away.
Yeah, I'm the only one that believes in myself, that believes it's a worthy endeavour, up until recent, really, with 2 exceptions, and to now doing this, it's like, wow, other people are saying, you know what, I like what you're doing. Here, let me give something to help support this. And so this project is essentially community funded. The music's being made by my people, our people,
right.
people
that the community.
The community, and so I'm over the moon.
That is fabulous. That is fabulous. Maybe amongst your songs you have one that you think might be good for the Good Vibe Challenge playlist.
For sure.
So we will put that information on a doc attached to this conversation so people can go looking for it. Because music is such a powerful motivator.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Wonderful. I can't wait to hear your new songs, girl.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm excited.
And I'm thankful that you're playing with us in the Good Vibe Challenge, because it is fun and games, but hopefully it's going to have seriously great results.
I believe it will. Energy is contagious.
Absolutely.
Energy is contagious, so yeah.
Remember that. You're a good virus.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks for coming so much.
Thank you, Barbara.